I was the only one in the Wilson family who inherited the ability to be reborn. When I was still babbling as a toddler, Linda would write lottery numbers all over our clay walls with charcoal ash and make me memorize them. If I misread or forgot any digits, she'd embroider the incorrect numbers onto my arms with her sewing needle to reinforce my memory. By age 6, I'd memorized every lottery result from my previous lifetime. That's when David finally took me to the county town for ice cream and also led me to a remote cliff edge. "Emily, you've had enough good days. Time to repay the family," David said excitedly before pushing me off the precipice. When I reopened my eyes, I'd regressed to age 3. Both Linda and David were beaming at me. "Emily, what's today's winning lottery number?" Our family produces one reincarnated person every 10 generations. As the 10th, I became my parents' obsession. They stopped farming and focused solely on procreation. Having 7 children until my birth caused our centuries-old family registry to change color. Linda started drilling lottery numbers into me before I could properly speak, using charred sticks to scribble digits across our walls. My toddler mind kept mixing dates and sequences. Initially patient, Linda snapped when I turned 2. She began with willow switches that left burning welts on my legs. As the required memorization grew, so did her punishments: red, hot tongs, thick wooden rods. My tearful pleas of "Mommy, I'm sorry," only enraged her more. "Focus on the numbers," she'd scream while stitching errors into my skin with needle and thread. "Your blabbering ruins concentration. When will I ever get my good life?" At night, David would cradle me on his lap. "Don't blame Mom, Emily. If you'd just memorize faster, we could all be rich. See how poor we are." Strangely, Linda showed kindness too. While our family subsisted on potatoes, I alone got daily eggs, brain food to accelerate my memorization. My 3 brothers worked constantly, yet I was exempted from chores. Despite the abuse, I believed her the best mother, until Grandma visited. After Grandma left, Linda dragged David into their bedroom. "Mother says we need to replace her brain to make her smarter." That night, still nursing fresh needle wounds, I eagerly followed David when he promised a special trip. As we walked, I recited lottery numbers to please him, unaware of our destination. But I never expected David Wilson to take me to a graveyard. Before I could process what was happening, he dragged me before an open coffin. A grimy old man stood beside it. David pulled 500 yuan from his pocket. "That brain-swapping ritual you mentioned, it actually works?" The old man swayed drunkenly. "Of course. The guy in this coffin was the county's top college entrance exam scorer. Only reason we dared dig him up at midnight was because his family lives in the city now." Enough chatter. Have Emily lie inside 3 days with this academic prodigy, and I guarantee she'll get his brains. Though young, I understood enough. I tried bolting, but David's iron grip seized the back of my neck. "Emily Wilson, where do you think you're running?" My blood turned to ice water seeing this stranger wearing my father's face. After 2 stunned heartbeats, I thrashed wildly because I'd glimpsed the coffin's contents. What lay inside wasn't a corpse but chunks of reeking bone. David ignored my screams. He bodily threw me into the rotting stench. My fingernails scrabbled against splintering wood as he slammed my head against the coffin wall. The final coffin lid thud shut, sealing out the moonlight. For 3 days, I alternated between sobbing and pounding the casket walls. Between outbursts, bitter realization settled in my chest: my parents didn't love me after all. This made me recall village whispers. People said our family had 7 children, though I only knew 3 brothers. My missing sisters, they claimed, had been turned into flowerpot girls and sold. I didn't understand how humans became flowers, but knew it couldn't be good. Cold terror gripped me. Without inheriting our family's rumored regeneration ability, would I become another floral commodity? When David finally released me, moonlight burned my retinas. The old man leered. "Emmy, ready to memorize multiplication tables now?" His grotesque grin made me nod frantically. "Why, yes, sir. This one's fate energy is too strong." He told David. Might need another ritual. Take her home. If the smarts don't stick, bring her back. My entire body convulsed. One last glance at the bone fragments made me swear I'd die before returning. Homecoming brought raging fever. In delirium, I dreamed of my 3 vanished sisters. They smiled, inviting me to play. Though tempted, I refused. Even cruel parents were better than oblivion. After 3 days, I awoke to find Linda slumped beside my bed. Her calloused palm touched my forehead. The warmth from the palm seeped through my skin into my very core. At that moment, I thought Linda must still love me. She only hit me because she wanted a better life too badly. David had returned to his old self, buying me expensive chocolates only city kids could afford. Though I disliked their bitterness, I still threw myself joyfully into his arms. From that day on, I vowed to memorize lottery numbers religiously. I never wanted to see Linda and David transform into those frightening strangers again, nor be subjected to that old man's rituals. Strangely, after making this resolution, my mind sharpened remarkably. Where I'd struggled to remember 1 set of numbers daily, I could now memorize 3. Whenever I exceeded expectations, David would gently stroke my hair, praising "Good girl, Emily." Linda stopped hitting me completely, storing away the hot iron and embroidery needles. Those were truly blissful days. Time flew as I grew older. Every pre-6th birthday lottery number etched in my mind. The night before my 6th birthday, David ruffled my hair affectionately. "Emmy, what birthday treat would you like tomorrow?" "Ice cream." I beamed. "Please, Daddy?" His weathered face crinkled into a smile. "Of course." At dawn, he took me to the county town, a dazzling world of amusement parks and snack shops. We breakfasted at a diner where sweet soybean milk and juicy pork buns left grease shining on my chin. As we left, a terrifying man entered, coffee leather jacket, face slashed by a grotesque scar. I shrank behind David, trembling. "He's a murderer," David hissed outside. "Keep whining and I'll have him chop you into mincemeat and stuff you into buns." My blood turned to ice. Yet childhood fears melt faster than ice cream. When David handed me that vanilla swirl, all terrors vanished. The creamy sweetness became my first and last taste of paradise. We passed the scarred man later, now gently feeding strays with steamed buns. Confusion wrinkled my brow. David always kicked alley cats. Yet this murderer showed kindness. Before I could ponder, David's bark froze me. "Emily, quit dawdling." He marched me toward jagged cliffs as twilight fell. Clutching his shirt hem, I whispered, "Daddy, why aren't we taking the road?" His silence chilled me deeper than any ice cream ever had. "Dad." David Wilson crouched down in front of me. "Emmy, has Daddy been good to you?" Though confused by the question, I nodded solemnly. "You've always been good to me, Daddy." David's mouth stretched into a wide grin. "Then would Emmy like to repay Daddy?" "Of course, Daddy." The moment the words left my lips, the world tilted violently. David had lifted me high, only to hurl me toward the cliff's edge. My scream died as wind ripped through my hair, tears streaming sideways across my face while gravity claimed me. The betrayal burned worse than the coming impact. My spine cracked against jagged rocks. Whimpers escaped through clenched teeth as I clawed at stubborn weeds, fingernails tearing. Survival instinct roared louder than pain. I needed answers. Needed to demand why my own father would. Bloodied fingers finally grasped the cliff's edge. David's boot smashed into my temple before I could pull up. I awoke in a sunlit bedroom where exposed beams mirrored my last memory's ruin. Yet modern appliances cluttered the space. Younger versions of David and Linda hovered over me, eyes blazing. "Emily." Linda shook my shoulders. "You're the reborn Emily, aren't you?" The original Emily was too stupid to even cry. Rage and grief swelled in my throat. I wanted to scream at these strangers wearing my parents' faces, demand why my first life ended in that ravine. David cut through my sobs with manic excitement. "She's definitely the reborn one. Check the ancestral book." Linda returned clutching a leather-bound volume. The pages are glowing. It says, lottery numbers. They hopped like children, babbling about making me memorize winning tickets just as they'd once plotted to drag me to burial grounds. Linda suddenly smacked David's arm upon noticing my silent tears. Don't mind us, Emmy. Her thumbs dug into my cheeks, wiping moisture away. Mommy and Daddy are just overjoyed. David nodded fervently. We never believed the family legends until now. Their shared grin mirrored the night they'd first discussed sacrificing their useless daughter to ancestral spirits. I studied their expressions through the haze, though their smiles seemed painfully forced. My timid headshake drew immediate reaction. It's okay, I whispered, my fearful compliance lowering their guard. David Wilson's eyes lit up. Emily, give us those lottery numbers now. The drawing's tonight. I'll bike to town before sunset and wait. When I win, you'll get the finest chocolates. His eager tone tightened my chest. This new father mirrored my previous life's dad in every manipulative gesture. Reluctantly, I recited the numbers. They left with my brothers for town, leaving me neck-chained to the bedstead. During their absence, I vowed to embrace these parents if they showed love. Orphanhood terrified me more than ropes. Linda Wilson stormed in next morning. Willow switch raised. Emily. Those numbers were fake. Her silhouette merged with memories of past life beatings. Mommy. I don't know. I sobbed, struggling against the noose as stinging blows rained down. When David finally snatched the switch, I collapsed against his chest. Hush, Emmy. He crooned, patting my welted back. Mom's just stressed. You see how poor we are? No lottery means starvation. His heartbeat thrummed against my ear as I whispered. Daddy. I memorized exactly what you taught me before. The exchanged glance between spouses spoke volumes. That night, I recounted every detail of my previous 6-year life, even daily rice portions. David dismissed me at moonrise, but I feigned sleep until their hissed argument pierced the wall. Could the brat be lying? Linda snapped. Unlikely. David rasped. Her past self died at 6. What could she fabricate? But the numbers. Dimensions might differ. Tomorrow. Coax her to write all combinations. Then we'll sell her. Useless freeloader anyway. Silent tears soaked my pillow. The Wilson family's cruelty transcended lifetimes. Whether it was my parents in this life or my previous life, they both hated me just the same. After crying all night, I woke up with eyes swollen like giant light bulbs. Linda looked at me with concern. Goodness. What happened? Your eyes are so puffy. I hesitated before whispering timidly. I'm fine. David immediately scooped me into his arms. Emily must still be adjusting to being reborn. Make her some poached eggs to reduce the swelling. His gentle tone made my heart ache. Why did this kind version of Dad have to be as cruel as my last father? One tried to kill me. The other wanted to sell me. After breakfast and eye compresses, David tentatively asked, Emily, could you help Daddy write down those lottery numbers you memorized in your past life? I stared at him silently before nodding. Though my small hands struggled with pens, we spent 3 days transcribing numbers. When finished, David ruffled my hair. As reward, I'll take you to town tomorrow. Tears spilled despite myself. Why don't you love me, Daddy? Tell me what I did wrong. I'll fix it. I don't want to be orphaned again. His face paled. Nonsense. I wouldn't take you to town if I didn't care. Your brothers never got this treat. My tears soaked his shirt as I bit back the truth. Brothers weren't merchandise to be sold. The familiar streets and amusement park brought no joy this time. Each step toward that ice cream shop felt like approaching a bottomless pit. Clutching David's hand, I pointed. Can I just have ice cream? We don't need the rides. He bought the cheapest cone with familiar impatience. The treat tasted bitter now. Worse than dark chocolate. After purchasing lottery tickets, David led me down an alley. My blood turned icy when a rancid homeless man opened a creaking door. Behind him, broken flower pots held children instead of plants. 20-odd crippled kids crawled with begging bowls, some weeping, some banging their heads on floors. This was the flower pot girls from Village Rumors. Give me extra 500. David bargained. My daughter's clever. She'll earn you plenty. The man appraised me like livestock. Deal. Bring more stock soon. Big orders coming from out of state. My new dad nodded. All right. David said before shoving me toward the homeless man. My heart clenched as I forced a smile. Daddy. Do you want me to play at this uncle's house? But I suddenly remember why the lottery ticket was wrong last time. I mixed up the dates. David's face paled. He glanced at the homeless man and frantically returned the $500. Bro. I'll bring her back in a couple days. I've got urgent business. He scooped me up and hurried away. My body growing rigid in his arms. If only he hadn't chosen to sell me. He could have lived comfortably. At the lottery shop, David spent $100 on new tickets while my chest ached watching him. Later, he resumed his doting father act. Emily, did you mess up the dates for those lottery numbers I asked about? I pointed to a diner across the street. I won't tell you unless we get soybean milk there. Though clearly irritated, David patted my head. Fine. In the diner, I ordered the same meal as my previous life. Sweet soybean milk trickled down my throat as silent tears fell. Oblivious to my crying, David Chain smoked with a stormy expression. I wiped my face and clutched my stomach. Daddy. My tummy hurts. Can I use the restroom? Just go. He snapped. Instead of heading to the bathroom, I slipped through the kitchen's back door. My shoes slapped against pavement until I reached the murderer's apartment from my past life. When the door creaked open, I trembled. I'll give you $5 million to kill my dad. The figure in the leather jacket laughed. His face lacking the jagged scar I remembered. Who's this tough, talking kid wanting hitmen? My hope deflated. This version hadn't become a killer yet. Tears spilled over as I crumpled. Since Rebirth, I'd agonized, what if my parents tried killing me again? This murderer was my last resort. Sniffling, I whispered. Will I end up as some flowerpot beggar on the streets again? I just want to go to school like other kids. The man suddenly knelt, flustered by my tears. Hey now. What's with the waterworks? I was about to say excuse me when angry shouts from David echoed nearby. Trembling, I ducked under the man's arm and bolted into the house. Close the door quick. My dad's coming. I screamed hysterically. The man watched me calmly. Running away isn't smart. Kid. My tears flowed harder. But he'll sell me to be a flowerpot girl. His expression darkened instantly. The door slammed shut with finality as multiple men emerged from the shadows. My breath caught. I'd escaped one nightmare only to stumble into another. Explain this flowerpot girl business, demanded a stocky man shoving chocolate at me. I kept wailing, unimpressed by the bitter treat. Ethan towered over me making silly faces that only reminded me of being thrown off cliffs in past lives. Keep crying and your father will hear. Dan's authoritative voice cut through my sobs. My tears froze mid-stream. Ethan clapped Dan's shoulder. Didn't know child wrangling was part of your skill set. Dan. Dan crouched before me, badge in hand. We're police. Tell us about the flowerpot girls and we'll protect you. I eyed his military ID photo suspiciously. How do I know you're real cops? Even police can't stop them. Dan's mouth tightened. That changes tonight. Hope flickered in my chest until sudden dizziness overwhelmed me. I awoke in a lavish bedroom. A sharp-featured woman stroking my forehead. Awake. Little Sparrow? I studied her crisp white shirt. Are you police too? The sister smiled and nodded. Yes. My name is Sophia Martinez. So little one. You can tell me anything. I studied the woman's facial expression carefully. But after staring for what felt like ages, I couldn't detect anything unusual. When my father lied to me in my past life, his face would stiffen. When Mom lied, only half her smile would curl up. But this woman's smile looked genuine. After wrestling with doubt, I finally decided to trust her. I can give you $5 million, no, $6 million, or $7 million. Can you take me away from here? Sophia gently ruffled my hair. I'm afraid not. If you want me to take you away, you'll first need to tell me about the flower pot girl story. I tilted my head in confusion. Do you mean I should tell you about both lifetimes? She paused briefly before smiling. Exactly. For a long moment I hesitated. Then spilled everything about my previous life and current existence. Strangely, Sophia kept crying throughout my story, her eyes swelling like light bulbs by the time I finished. Sophia, I said worriedly, do you have boiled eggs here? If you warm them and press against your eyelids, the redness goes away. Whenever Mom hit me and I cried my eyes out, I'd use breakfast eggs to soothe the swelling. Instead of calming down, her tears fell harder. Sighing internally at this crybaby adult, I awkwardly wrapped my arms around her like Dad used to hold me. There. Hugs make the tears go away. Our embrace was interrupted when Dan strode in, frowning at the scene. What's with the waterworks? I shot him a disapproving look. Girls need comforting when they cry. I'd picked up that line from the diner TV. Dan chuckled, scooping us both into a bear hug. All right then. Daddy's here. Hugs for everyone. Before I could praise his effort, Sophia shoved him onto his back. Get lost. Since when are you my husband? She fled the room sobbing. Dan climbed up, dusting himself off. See what you caused. Troublemaker? I'll get Ethan to keep you company while I go fix this. Watching him leave, I felt an inexplicable warmth blooming in my chest. The following days in that house became the happiest I'd ever known across both lifetimes. Various uncles took turns entertaining me, though Ethan spent the most time with me. My only frustration came when none of them bought lottery tickets despite me sharing winning numbers repeatedly. They'd just laugh and tease me. Baffling me completely, why did they scorn the wealth my father had killed for? Everything changed when Uncle Fatty suddenly screamed one day, "Holy shit. Holy fucking shit." The room froze. Swallowing hard, he stammered. The numbers Emily gave me yesterday, they're tonight's jackpot. The tall brother Ethan exclaimed in panic. Quickly checked the previous winning lottery numbers. Damn. These are the lottery numbers Emily told me last time. And this set? These are the numbers she gave me as a forfeit when we played rock paper scissors. Everyone stared at me in disbelief. I simply glanced at them indifferently and kept jumping rope. I told you guys. But you didn't believe me. As the group moved closer to question me, team leader Dan stormed over angrily. Emily, go to your room now. The rest of you come with me. His furious expression made my lower lip tremble. Sophia immediately took my hand. Don't be scared, Emmy. Let's go back to our room. Later. Sophia gazed at me tenderly. Promise me something, sweetheart. Never share lottery numbers with anyone again. I tilted my head in confusion. But why? I like those uncles and brothers. I want them to be rich. She gently tucked my hair behind my ears. Money earned through honest work has real value. Is cheating good? I shook my head. Then giving them lottery numbers is helping them cheat. Promise you'll never tell anyone, not me. Not Dan. Not even your parents. Keep it secret like you did before. Though not fully understanding, I nodded solemnly. Okay. The lottery topic vanished from our conversations like erased chalk. Until the day pounding fists shook our front door. Give me back my daughter or I'll call the police. My new father's voice boomed. Ethan calmly instructed. Emmy. Hide in the bedroom. I'll protect you. Trembling, I left the door cracked open. 6 burly men barged in led by my father and the flower pot shop owner. Where's that damn girl? Ethan rose from where they'd shoved him. Who are you? This is private property. The shopkeeper sneered. Outsiders stealing our people? You're dead. His thugs descended like wolves, kicks to the ribs. Fists smashing against Ethan's skull. Crimson trails leaked from his mouth as I bit my hand bloody. Silent tears pooling in my palms. As I watched them about to slam Ethan's head against the wall, my trembling body lunged forward. Stop. You can't hurt Ethan. Hearing my voice, Ethan shuddered violently. He whimpered. Emmy. Run, don't come closer. The flowerpot shop owner sneered, delivering several brutal kicks to Ethan's skull. Blood streamed down his face as I grabbed a fruit knife from the table and pressed it to my neck. If you touch him again, I'll kill myself right now. You'll never get the real lottery numbers. The ones I gave you before were fake. My stepdad's face twisted with rage. Emily. You lying little bitch. I glared at him. You're not my real father. A sudden searing pain shot through my wrist as the knife was ripped away. A kick to my stomach sent me sprawling. Ethan roared like a wounded animal, surging up to grapple with the thug. The blade plunged into Ethan's chest. I screamed. Hysterical sobs tore from my throat as I crawled toward the violence, sinking my teeth into the attacker's leg. Crimson splattered my hair, my face, the floor. When Ethan's lifeless body finally crumpled, I scrambled for the knife. If I died now, maybe he'd live again in another life. The thug snapped my legs like twigs with a sickening crack, dangling me like a rag doll. He carried me outside where Dan and Ethan's friends appeared. Run! I shrieked, voice breaking like a dying animal's wail. They kept advancing. Through tear-blurred vision, I saw Dan's determined stride, and the flowerpot shop owner's grin as he discussed turning me into fertilizer merchandise. My stepdad eagerly nodded along. I watched Dan kick the potted plant doll boss. I saw the other brothers restraining my father David. In the blink of an eye, the thug holding me pressed a knife against my neck. Let us go or I'll slit her throat. Dan pulled out his gun from his pocket. Not happening. The thug glared viciously at Dan. You want this hostage dead? Just as the blade moved toward my neck, my body suddenly dropped. I crashed to the ground as the thug released me. During my panicked screams, Dan caught me firmly. That's when I noticed Sophia had subdued the thug. Terrified, I clung to Dan's neck. Let me die. If I die, I can save Ethan. Dan buried my face against his chest. Hush. This is adult business. Before he finished speaking, the fallen thug scrambled up and pulled a knife from his pant leg, lunging at Dan's back. Look out! I screamed. Dan twisted sideways just as the blade slashed across his face. Blood cascaded down. I wailed hysterically, trying to staunch the wound with my hands, but the blood kept seeping through my fingers. No, don't die. When I awoke in a sterile hospital room, my leg was in a cast and my forehead bandaged. Seeing Sophia by my bed, I burst into tears. Please let me die. Sophie. Then I could save Ethan and Dan. Sophia ruffled my hair. Silly girl. Your father said your reincarnation ability only works once. You've already used it. I sobbed uncontrollably. So even if I die now, I can't save them? The door swung open. Dan entered with bandages covering his face. TSK. Wasted all those candies on you. Little ingrate. Keep wishing death on me? I laughed through tears. But Dan grew stern. Emily. Calm down this instant. If you keep harassing the medical staff, I'll spank you myself. I shrunk under his glare while Sophia rolled her eyes. After he left, anguish overwhelmed me. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Ethan's corpse. I'd jolt awake screaming, or burst into unexplained weeping fits. The nightmares never stopped. Ethan's lifeless body, Dan's bloodied face, and my powerless hands dripping crimson. Later, a beautiful lady came to the hospital room. She asked me to draw pictures. She told me stories. She even played with me. Somehow, gradually, my sadness started fading. I stayed at the hospital so long that the doctors finally said I could be discharged. But when I heard I was leaving, panic like I'd never felt before washed over me. I didn't know where they'd send me. Sophia Martinez seemed to notice my confusion. She smiled and linked arms with Daniel Martinez. Emily. Let's start over. From today, I'll be your mommy and he'll be your daddy. My eyes widened in disbelief. You'll really be my new parents? Dan made a face. Yeah. And if it weren't for you, this one wouldn't have married me. I'm already at the bottom of the family hierarchy. His grumbling made me giggle uncontrollably. Their house took my breath away, all done up in my favorite shades of pink. With my very own bedroom. Dan said I could do whatever I wanted. Just don't mess with my wife. True to form, Sophia immediately kicked him flat on his back. Their antics always made me laugh until my sides hurt. Then one day, Sophia brought home a backpack. "You're starting kindergarten tomorrow." My heart soared. Going to school had been my biggest dream in both lifetimes. But after the initial joy, strange melancholy settled over me. "Mommy," I asked quietly, "can I visit Ethan?" Sophia froze. "Emmy, let's wait until you're older. Okay?" Though it hurt terribly. I nodded. I'd already known the kind hospital lady was a therapist. I'd seen the observation journal Sophia kept locked in her desk. That weekend, while buying soy sauce at the corner store, I froze at the TV report, city's largest human trafficking ring busted. David Wilson. Linda Wilson among 20 convicted, my birth parents stood shackled in court. The anchor's cold narration detailed their death sentences as the shopkeeper spat. "Child selling scum like that deserved to die without leaving any descendants." I fled home empty-handed. My cheeks burning as if his curses physically slapped me. Mom saw me and slightly furrowed her brows. "Emily Martinez. What's wrong? Tell me what happened." I forced a smile. I'm fine." To my surprise, my usually gentle mother suddenly erupted. "Emily. Start crying right this instant. Cry immediately." I shook my head with a strained laugh. I'm okay." Tears streamed down Mom's face as she yanked me over her knee, spanking my bottom hard. "Cry. You will cry." Whether from her fury or the stinging pain, I finally burst into loud sobs. My voice cracked. "Mom, I'm a trafficker's child. I deserve to die without descendants. I should." She pulled me into a crushing embrace. "No. You're Emily Martinez, daughter of Sophia and Daniel Martinez. Your parents are police officers. Memorize this truth, you're not a trafficker's child." I cried harder, clinging to her words. She was right. I wasn't a criminal's daughter, I belonged to heroes. My parents had agreed to let me visit Ethan Harper shortly before my 6th birthday. When I'd timidly asked Mom for this birthday gift, their bedroom erupted in argument that night. "You approve this?" Dad's voice shook. "She's still a child. I'll never allow anything to hurt Emily." "Daniel," Mom countered gently. "She's mature for her age. This matters to her. So our responsible girl should endure what breaks adults. I'd rather she stayed innocent." Lying awake, guilt churned in my stomach. Yet the next morning, our living room overflowed with gift baskets. Dad staggered through the door, mock complaining. "Sophia. People will think we're running a supermarket." Mom adjusted fruit arrangements. "Idiot, this is Emily's first gratitude visit to Ethan's family. The gifts must reflect our respect." My heart leapt. "You're letting me go?" Mom smoothed my hair. "We'll always support what matters to you, sweetheart." At the Harper's home, my composure shattered when I saw the framed memorial photo. Hysterical sobs racked my body, memories flooding back of Ethan shielding me during the rescue, of blades plunging into him again and again. I knelt before the portrait, knocking my forehead 3 times against the floor. "Thank you, Ethan, for saving me." Turning to his parents, I vowed through tears, "I'll be your granddaughter. I'll care for you when I grow up." Finally, I faced my parents. "Thank you for giving me this happy life." On my 6th birthday, Mom wanted to throw me a lavish party. I said no. Instead, I asked to visit the lottery store. She blinked in surprise but smiled, tousling my hair as she agreed. At the shop, I purchased the final lottery combination I remembered from my past life. The moment I claimed the jackpot, I donated every cent to the Red Cross with one condition: the funds must specifically rescue trafficked children. When I blew out my birthday candles that year, I whispered my wish: I hope Ethan could be reborn as Mom's baby. I'll protect him exactly how he watched over me.